I sell out of cake flights every time I go to the farmer's market, so let me show you how to make them so you can sell them too. I make my cake flights in a 12 by 18 pan. I line the bottom of the pan with parchment paper and spray the sides with baking spray for easy release of the cake. I coined the term cake flight when I got the inspiration from a restaurant serving drink flights. I thought it would be the perfect idea for my cake business, and I was right. The concept of making cake samples is not new, but calling them a cake flight is all me. So yeah, run me my credit. I fill the pan with 2 batches of my dream cake recipes. You can do all one flavor or split it in half to make 2 flavors. I usually do 2 flavors in one pan, but it all depends on how many cake flights you want to make. You can get my dream cake and dream buttercream recipes in the description below or go to thestationbakery.com and use code CAKEFLIGHT for 30% off. Once my cakes bake up, I wrap them and put them in the freezer to chill. Freezing has a lot of benefits, especially because I usually make my cakes ahead of time. I can make my cakes early in the week and store until I'm ready to decorate. Freezing the cake ahead also makes working with the cake and cutting clean lines much easier. Once the cake is chilled, I cut it down the middle. You can do this step before freezing as well if you don't have enough space for the whole sheet in your freezer. Just cut it in half, wrap it separately, or use parchment paper in between to keep them from sticking together, and then put it in the freezer. I usually do 2 flavors per sheet cake, so I work with 1/2 at a time. I take that half and then I half it again. I add my buttercream and any fillings on top of that 1/2. I smooth it out and ensure that everything is completely level. You don't want to overfill the middle of your cake because you won't be able to close the lid for the cake flight. The dimensions are very specific, but my cake recipes make achieving the right dimensions super easy. I'll give you the dimensions in just a minute, and keep watching because I'm going to share how I package my cake flights and how much I charge for them later in the video. I clean up the edges a bit to make sure the top and the bottom layers are aligned. Do not throw out the scraps when making cake flights. The scraps are what I use to make my samples. Now let me jump ahead a little bit and show you how I label my cake flights. Don't worry, I'm gonna finish showing you how to make the cake flights right after this. And make sure that you keep watching because I'm also gonna tell you exactly how much I charge for these. You can grab my label templates to make labeling your own cake flights a breeze too. They are editable using a free Canva account, and all you have to do is add your own info into the sections. Now you have an easy, efficient way to make cake labels that comply with cottage food laws and still look good. Now, I'm going to need you to stay with me for this part, okay? This whole slab will make 9 cake pieces for 1 flavor. However, this is content. So I will be using this 1 slab to make all 4 of my flavors. You following me? You're going to top your slab with your decorations and toppings. Again, keeping in mind the maximum height of 2 inches. This is 4 inches by 8.5 inches by 2 inches high. I section the slab so each piece of cake will be 1.5 inches by 2.5 inches. Each piece will be consistent and fit perfectly into the cake flight packaging if you want to make a flight of 4. This is what I normally do. The dimensions to make a 3-flavor flight will be in the description below. Again, any scraps from this will be used to make your samples. This is the packaging that I use for my cake flights. They're absolutely perfect, and as you see, all the cake fits inside perfectly. If I went a little too fast for you, or you like to be able to read the step-by-step instructions, I'll have all the links to everything I use to make the cake flights and a free blog post so you can walk through the steps at your own pace down in the description below and at thestationbakery.com. Now let's get into a little bit of pricing. When I first made these, I charged $15 each, and they were the first things to sell out. So this year I sold them for $18 each. And again, they were the first things to sell out. But of course you're gonna have to subscribe and stay tuned to see how that goes. And if you like pricing videos, check this one out next.